somebody that doesn't need a reminder that it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, is Christophe Galtier, one of the best managers out there, of course, leading now Paris Saint-Germain. My God, Jonathan Johnson, 17 goals already for PSG. The game against Lille, by the way, he only won the league like only 2 seasons ago. They are something fierce, and they thought they'd be a title contender. And wow, look at this, 7-1. Watching these highlights, JJ, was to me like just watching like a FIFA world-class player against like playing his mom or something. Like, it was just ridiculous. The opening goal, of course, the fastest goal in Ligue 1 history, 8 seconds. I mean, fantastic stuff out of the training ground, but it was just everywhere. The trio is clicking. Can this continue, JJ? And how surprised, I guess, are you by this ridiculous start?
Joint fastest goal in Ligue 1 history. I think it's the fastest goal in Opta history, but I think they've only been recording the data since like
Never
2006.
question Jonathan Johnson's statistical mind.
No. But honestly, I mean, I'm kind of torn about that opening goal because, I mean, I think PSG needs to be applauded for, being quite inventive about the way that they targeted it. I mean, part of me really wonders if it's because of Galtier's knowledge of Jose Fonch's game, that he knew that the defense would be so high up the pitch.
JJ, combination of all of it. I mean, it was clearly you could see that they did that in training.
He admitted it after the game. They practiced it, but for Galtier to identify that would happen was impressive. But I think Paulo Fonseca would have been distraught with his defense allowing that to happen. I don't think that any teams will be getting any gifts like that anytime soon. But, unfortunately, that kind of thing that early in the game against PSG, I mean, it kills you. I mean, there was the article in The Athletic that, whipped up a bit of controversy on Twitter last week about how Bayern should start a goal down. Many people sort of feel, the same way about PSG as well. But then when you see one of the teams that should really be able to push them a bit better than the likes of the Clermonts and the Montpelliers doing that, throwing a goal away inside of the opening 10 seconds, it's pretty frustrating because, I think that Ligue 1 gets a bad rep overall because it is more competitive, in my opinion, than many people give it credit for. But then again, when you've got guys like Neymar, Messi on form in the way that they are, I mean, you look at that second goal, that is vintage Messi, Neymar brilliance. I mean, it's, it was phenomenal to watch at times. The thing that people are hoping at the moment, myself included, is that PSG can really translate this seriousness that they've had about them since the start of the season to the continental stage, because it's all well and good them doing it in Ligue 1, but it only really counts if they can maintain it across Ligue 1, the Coupe de France, and the Champions League, because, they could be the most dominant team in French footballing history. They could go and have an unbeaten season, which, they haven't managed to do yet. Nantes hold the record from back in 1995 for that. And it's something I've always felt that PSG should target. They really could have done it under Laurent Blanc, I felt. But they now have a great opportunity to do it like this. You do have to wonder how the World Cup is going to impact them during the season, whether the players are going to maintain that same level of motivation, but you can't argue with the way that they've started. And I think as well, I mean, it's difficult to win when you're trying to have a conversation about PSG, because either, they dominate the league and it's bad for Ligue 1, or, they take it seriously and they're still dominating the league. I think it is damaging for Ligue 1 when they're not at full strength and they're still sort of romping to victory. But that doesn't always happen. They sometimes get caught out by a Monaco or by a Lille, as you mentioned. But, for them to be applied like this, if they can do it across all fronts, then, I think, it is going to be a PSG to be reckoned with this season.
I think the difference between the PSGs and the club like Bayern, who stroll through their league and dominate, as well as the consistency of the mentality. And now they have a coach. In this match, what struck me wasn't just the play on the field. It looked like a training match. Messi, I said I was putting out a cigarette. Messi was putting out a cigarette, cigar, and the bottle of whiskey down in the game, strolling through this game, is the intensity of Galtier. I think he's brought this intensity. He was pacing the touchline as if they were down a goal from minute 0 to minute 90. And I know because Lille is near and dear to his heart because of what he was able to do there, but there's just this intensity and focus that you see throughout the team for 90 minutes, and this ruthlessness. When it was at halftime, in seasons past, you'd see them strolling through, maybe Neymar doing a couple step overs, couple tricks, Messi walking around, but there was this desire to score more goals, this desire to really embarrass and humiliate Lille because they can. The Bayern Munichs, that Bayern team that won the treble, that won the Champions League, they had that ruthlessness no matter who they played. I mean, they put Messi's Barcelona, they humiliated them because they could, because they wanted to send a message to the rest of Europe that it was their year, it was their trophy, and there's nothing anyone could do about it. In terms of teams who could compete, Lille, sorry, not your year. I think it's a two-horse race. I think Marseille, although they got very fortunate in their win at the weekend, own goal was the difference, and Lyon, the team no one's talking about. Lyon have the experience. Lacazette looks right back at home. Tolisso, Tete getting a couple goals, and Paqueta. This is a team that on their day could catch a PSG team off their day, and especially if they meet up in and around, whether it's cup competition or league competition, in and around World Cup friendlies and World Cup play starting up.
Yeah, I see this PSG side, and I think I've said this before. I compare them a little bit to like an NBA dynasty team or even the dream team, right? Where it's like if the talent is ready and they're focused and they're ready to go, in this case, Messi, Mbappe, Neymar, if they're, to your point, Mike, if they're like focused and willing to give it their all. I mean, a hardworking Neymar is such a great motivator for the entire squad. Because if he does that, and Galtier has already said it, it's like he got one of the things that Galtier is so good at is he knows that a certain player just needs that stroke of ego. Just caress him a little bit and make him understand that you are so important, but we need you to be to this level. That's what he's doing with Neymar Jr., and Neymar Jr. is responding. So that's why I compare them to an NBA dynasty team, because the Phil Jacksons and the Bulls, or Phil Jackson and the Lakers, etc. You have the talent, but you need a coach that can motivate you when things get hard in training, etc. And if you have that, then everybody be scared, because then PSG is ready to go. Now, the Champions League, to me, is obviously their ultimate objective. Like, you got to represent there and you got to make it count. But I have no doubt that at the very least, they now have a manager that knows exactly what to do with this team, both strategically and just from a man management perspective, because that's the key with PSG. Keep them happy. Keep Mbappe happy. Keep Neymar happy. Keep Messi happy. And after that, if they're willing to give it their all, everybody else behind them will be like, oh, man, the trio's going for it. Eminem's going for it, then we're going to go for it as well. And I think that that's going to be the key component. So it's good to see how they have
there's one key figure as well who enables Galtier to do that. And to his credit, he's someone I think we wrote off a while back, but Sergio Ramos, when you have him fit and suddenly
just a dressing room voice,
able to actually bring something on the pitch, that experience, when you suddenly tap into that, takes you up a level. And he has been earning rave reviews so far since the start of the season. I mean, to be honest, any review of Sergio Ramos this season was going to be rave compared to last season, because he barely got on the pitch. But for PSG to actually now finally be able to get something out of him, that's a real boon for them. And to be fair, we're talking about PSG's attacking brilliance. There are still some vulnerabilities in that defense. They haven't been tested just yet. I think they're going to have issues later on down the line because they don't look completely watertight at the back. And if Ramos does get injured, then suddenly there's issues about depth. But for now, it's started well. It'll be a decent test this weekend against Monaco. I'm a bit disappointed by them so far this season, so they've got a point to prove in the capital. But I do think that Ramos does make a huge difference, not only in the way that PSG are playing and setting up, but in being able to transmit those important messages from Galtier to the likes of a Neymar.